Red Bull has been in a power struggle for months now, and even though it seems to have cooled down in the background, a lot is happening. And it's looking likely that Red Bull will say goodbye to either Horner or Verstappen this year, as reports are saying that a future with both is looking very unlikely. So how are things standing right now, and could this really happen? The story starts with the Red Bull executives meeting in Dubai a couple of weeks ago, which resulted in a stronger position for team principal Christian Horner than ever before. The Thai majority shareholders support him through thick and thin. Does this mean Max Verstappen can leave? If there was any possibility of delaying or even eliminating Christian Horner's desire for dominance in the Red Bull group, it vanished with the Red Bull leaders meeting in Dubai following the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Contrary to media reports, Horner's position was strengthened rather than undermined at the discussion, given the power of the Thai majority shareholder. To make it even worse for the other shareholders, due to the Thailand's surprise onslaught, the Austrian group, led by Oliver Mintzlaff and Franz Watzlawick, seemed to be more concerned with maintaining their seats aboard the alleged sinking ship. However, the power play from Austria may turn completely sour. Rumours circulated around the paddock in Melbourne that Red Bull holdings may be totally transferred to Dubai. Chalerm Yovidya, the Thai majority stakeholder, fully supports team head Horner's aspirations to acquire entire control of both the beverages firm and the motorsport enterprise. This assistance would only be jeopardized if a civil court ruled that Horner had acted improperly with an employee. For now, we are still a long way from that point. It may take some time before the procedure begins and a result is achieved. This allows Horner enough time to implement strategies that will propel him to the top of the business. He may also arrange Red Bull and Toro Rosso according on his own long-term vision. So far, Horner has not been able to manage his own racing team as he would want. This begins with the need that he has investments over a particular threshold approved by the Austrian side, that is, Helmut Marko. Prior to his death, Dietrich Mateschitz's control over personnel decisions was considerably limited. The big concern right now is how Max Verstappen will respond. What is the value of the alleged provision that permits him to depart if the team's power dynamic shifts? Raymond Vermeulen, Verstappen's manager, is alleged to have met with Thai executives in Dubai following the Australian Grand Prix. The conversation's topic is not clear. It wasn't about persuading Yovidya that Horner should quit. Others have previously failed on this assignment. More likely, he told the Thais the truth. If Horner continues in control, Max Verstappen will be gone. The world champion himself is quite stubborn in his remarks. When Helmut Marko's suspension was announced, he informed everyone whose side he was on and who he saw as the genuine architect of the Red Bull success story: company founder Dietrich Mateschitz and Helmut Marko. Even though Christian Horner has stated that he will not compel anyone to stay with the team, he will probably make sure that Verstappen completes his deal until 2028, if only to show the Verstappen family who is now in command of the team. Even though there is a lot going on, everyone involved has at least agreed on a formula. We have to bring in enough calm so that Max can win the World Championship. That is the priority. The competition has known from the season start in Bahrain that Red Bull's condition could change radically in 2025. That is why Silly Season, which gathered speed early on with Lewis Hamilton's move to Ferrari, has come to a halt once more. Everyone is eager to see what Verstappen will do. Only until that is known can the shuffle begin. Mercedes and Aston Martin are looking at Verstappen. Aston Martin wants a move including star designer Adrian Newey, in whom Mercedes looks to be less interested. For Newey, Aston Martin is more likely to compete with Ferrari. Aston Martin is clearly attempting to provide a more appealing package than Mercedes, with the Newey card and engine partner Honda. The large name of a worldwide business and the possibility to become a lifelong brand ambassador are what matter there. As Mercedes and Aston Martin aren't currently marketing themselves on the racecourse. However, if Verstappen wishes to depart, he must do so by the end of the season. If he stays with Red Bull for another season, it indicates that he accepts the new power balance. But how will Red Bull line up in 2025 if Verstappen were to leave? Who could fill his seat? And who would you like to fill his seat? Within the paddock, it is thought that Fernando Alonso's management has responded promptly to the changing conditions. While the Spaniard was first considered for the Hamilton seat at Mercedes, Alonso's manager, Flavio Briatore, now appears to see a greater possibility at Red Bull, and in Horner, he has discovered someone who is interested in an Alonso deal. Horner can make an offer to Alonso without any issues because Sergio Perez's contract expires at the end of the year. If Verstappen remains, he will join the super team. If not, Perez can stay. Or Horner's protege Daniel Ricciardo will make a return. It will be intriguing to see what occurs during salary discussions with the Alonso side. Will it then still be the case that the Austrians must be asked when a certain amount is reached? Horner and the Thais may take their risks and see how far they can push their right to self-determination. Alonso is in Red Bull's eyes a better candidate for them than Carlos Sainz, who is also competing in the Bermuda Triangle with Red Bull, Mercedes, and Aston Martin, aiming to impress with his present performance. However, Alonso, with his uncompromising approach, is more in line with Red Bull's image than the well-behaved Sainz, and he is a former world champion. Sainz isn't. Alonso also does not have to worry about the engine issue in 2026 or beyond. In a Red Bull, he would have another shot at winning a third world championship in 2025. That is enough for him. Mercedes would have more difficulty making friends with the villain in the Formula One field. Alonso's performance versus George Russell in Melbourne has not helped his popularity. At Mercedes, all indicators lead to Verstappen. You can hear it in every word made about the issue right now. And they are shockingly knowledgeable about what goes on behind the scenes at Red Bull. If things don't work out with the Dutchman, they'll probably go with Kimi Andrea Antonelli. Toto Wolff does not want to lose another member of his own stable to a rival squad. The key to silly season seems to be the dynamic between Horner and Verstappen, and according to Viaplay analyst Ernest Noors, Horner fueled the flames at the Australian Grand Prix by praising Carlos Sainz's performance. However, while his words regarding Sainz, the only driver that's beaten Red Bull, were first understood to be in reference to Sergio Perez's second Red Bull seat, the Viaplay expert believes they were actually directed at Verstappen. I find this very interesting, the analyst said. I think you should also see this a bit in relation to the power struggle of Christian Horner with Helmut Marko, and Red Bull Thailand with Red Bull Austria. If Christian feels that Max Verstappen, Jos Verstappen and Helmut Marko are putting a little pressure on him, he can think, well, someone like Carlos Sainz. If I bring him in, then I have someone with whom I can potentially become a champion. That would increase the pressure on Max, because I don't really think Max is eager to have Carlos Sainz as a teammate. I think there is a large part of politics involved, and Christian is of course politically very smart. But despite conceding the unrest at Red Bull, Sebastian Vettel claims Max Verstappen has no reason from a sporting standpoint to leave the team. There is of course a lot of unrest at the moment, but I think from a sporting perspective there is currently no reason for him to think about anything else, the four-time world champion said. What do you think will happen at Red Bull? Will Horner keep control, or even gain complete control over Red Bull? And would this cause Verstappen to switch to another team, or will another team boss take over if Horner were to move up the ladder, which will make Verstappen stay? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below.